Welcome to Fly Nubian Queen Network, the network for melanated people like you. I'm your host, Marye Esquire, here at thewallstreetlawyer.com. And tonight we're going to talk about a little bit of Cardi B. Okay, I suck at that. Okay, so come on in here and hit the share and subscribe button and let me know where you are from. Drop your .com because I'm not the only .com in the house, right? Everybody's business is online these days. If it's not online, it definitely should be. So drop your .com in the chat so everybody else in our beautiful black world can know what you do and visit your business at your online domain and see what it is that you have to offer the black community. Because again, this is the network for melanated people like you, and this is the home for intelligent black people. So we support one another. We support each other's businesses. We look out for one another. We're more than just a community, a thriving black community. We are a black family. We are family. So drop your .com so your family members out there in our B1 nation can support you, can support your business. And if you are looking to grow your business, please check out flynubianbusiness.com. If you are looking to better manage your money, please check out flynubianmoney.com. You can always find me, Marye Esquire, online at thewallstreetlawyer.com. So let's get in today's topic, guys. We were all on the edge of our seats. Some of us, if not all of us, everybody's definitely been talking about the trial between blogger Tasha K and Cardi B over Cardi B, whether or not she actually had this STD and all these other horrific things Tasha K said about Cardi B. We're not going to act like Cardi B's a saint because she's not a saint. We all know that she was a bona fide, proud lady of the night. Okay, a stripper woman who made her coins by displaying her coins. And but no one deserves to have people bashing or at least saying things about them that is not true. So let's get into the story. Tasha K, blogger who recently lost a defamation lawsuit against diamond artist Cardi B, was asked about her paying the Bronx rapper, and she revealed, you know what? I'm going to let you hear it straight from the horse's mouth because I got this queued up for you. So just get into this. I'm going to play it for you. Make sure you drop your hashtag B1 in the chat, guys, and hit the share and subscribe button because I'm always dropping nuggets in here. I'm going to drop some nuggets tonight about what to do, what happens when you sue someone who doesn't have the money to pay. So you may want to hit the share and subscribe button. If people out there are having litigation conflicts that wind up in court out there, they will definitely appreciate having this information. So let's hear what Tasha K has to say about the $4 million judgment that Cardi B has against her.
In this lawsuit, allegedly at this moment, I think it's $4 million you have to pay a celebrity. A lot of conversation has been is, do you even have that amount of money to pay in this lawsuit? Like, is Tasha K worth that amount of money to pay that?
I ain't got it.
I always want to know. Listen, I'm so glad you said
that. Listen, I ain't got it. Don't ask me for no money. I ain't got it. But listen, we have business things in place that takes care of things like this. Now, of course, the appellate court and the Supreme Court is in process right now.
Oh, that is true. You're not trying to pay that $4 million. You're gonna do the appeal.
No. That's what the appellate
and then
who's trying to pay $4 million? Who? You got to keep looking for him.
That YouTube money is big checks.
It's good, but I got 2 children.
Okay, so what happens when you sue someone who does not have the money to pay you? Do you factor that in? Should you factor that in when it comes to trying to sue somebody? Look, I think one of the first things you do when you're going to file a lawsuit against someone, and to find if you're doing it for the money. First thing every attorney wants to know for sure, and definitely that they should be advising them clients are the same, is whether or not the defendant has the ability to pay. I don't want you spending your money to pay me. I'm not necessarily a cheap lawyer here, right? So I don't want you to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to pay me to litigate a lawsuit against someone, and they don't have the money to pay you if we do win. So what good is that? And so that is definitely something that we do in early on in evaluating whether or not to take a case, whether or not it's even worth its weight in salt to take that case or not. Look, there are many reasons why you may want to sue someone, and money damages doesn't necessarily always mean that is not necessarily the thing that you always want. You may want to change a person's behavior or get a form of restraining order or protective order or something like that. You may also want to stop someone from doing something or make someone doing something. So in that case, you would be looking for injunctive relief. You may want to force someone to perform under the terms of a contract. So you may want to enforce a contract. None of these necessarily require the other person to have money. But probably the most common reason people are out there suing one another, that you may file a lawsuit against someone, or you may find someone filing a lawsuit with you, is usually to collect some money. So when you sue someone with no money, in order to collect money, you have to get creative and look beyond that individual's personal savings. So what do? Well, the first thing that we look to, everybody knows this, right? Because I'm sure you all have car insurance and you've been either sued or sue someone in that capacity before. And so similar to that, it is the insurance is the first place we look to when you're trying to collect from someone who has no money. So in all ways, you hope that people have money, okay? And if you notice in the interview with Tasha K, what she did say, I ain't got it, but she did infer that there are things that businesses, that our business have in place when things like this happen. So I think she's having a little bit of fun with the commentary and I ain't got it and jokes and kiki. But I think that if she ain't got it, then that's where her insurance company will step in and pay for it, which it sounds like she has. Beyond the appeals that she's obviously filing for appeal, but beyond that, if she's actually found to have to pay, it is the insurance who will take care of that judgment. Also, even before the judgment has to be enforced, it's the insurance that pays the attorney's fees. It's the insurance. If you have a really good insurance provider, depending on the scope of the insurance that you have, it is the insurance who will step in and pay for the lawyer fees. They will defend that suit all the way out and then pay the judgment if you actually lose the suit. So you should always have insurance, personal insurance, as well as business insurance. You should definitely have insurance in your business. That will save you a huge headache when you have these unexpected litigation expenses that arise, whether it's defending your brand or defending your business, defending your product, defending your good name, defending your contracts. You'll definitely want to have insurance. Okay. Let's see. So beyond insurance, it's viable to collect money from the employer or whoever else was directing that person's behavior. That's another, going for the deeper pockets. So if you're suing someone, let's say if Cardi B is suing Tasha K, but Tasha K was really working for a larger conglomerate. Let's say she was an employee of TMZ or one of these bigger outlets, CNN. Maybe let's say Tasha K just happens to be a commentator for CNN, and she's doing this in furtherance of her job. So the next thing to do would be to really look to the person with the deeper pockets. In that case, the employer. So that's another way we try to go around and figure out what we're going to do, how to get you some money in case, in the instance that you deserve to get you some money. But what else can you do if you're suing someone and they actually have no money? Let's say that Oh, that's what it is. Insolvent. When you sue someone with no ability to pay a judgment, that person is considered to be judgment proof or insolvent. Judgment proof is not a literal term. You can absolutely get a judgment and a court order requiring someone with no money to pay you money, but it can be very difficult to collect. So a judgment sometimes, in order to be worth more than the paper that is printed on, it's really enforcing that judgment. So how do you enforce these judgments? No money can mean an easier case. No money now does not ever mean that they will not ever have money in the future. That's something else to keep in mind. While Tasha K may say today she ain't got it, she may actually have it, I don't know, in 3 or 4 years, 5 years from now, she may actually blow up. So one thing you want to do if you have a judgment like that, you want to make sure you perfect that judgment and you renew that perfection so you can keep that judgment alive. Okay? And you may, in your judgment, you should also ask for interest because you want interest to accrue for the period of time where you are not being paid what you are owed under the judgment. So now you become a judgment creditor. And as a judgment creditor, you can file a document known as an abstract of judgment with the county where the debtor owns property. If that property is ever sold, the judgment may be paid from a portion of the proceeds of the sale. So you can attach a person's personal property as well as a person's real property. You can just attach that judgment right onto there, file a lien against their property, personal or real, and enforce that judgment at the time that their property is sold. If you are looking to grow your business, please check out flynubianbusiness.com. If you are looking to manage your money, please check out flynubianmoney.com. You can always find me, Marye Dean Esquire, online at thewallstreetlawyer.com. And so the funny thing they say in this article about Tasha K, and I'm going to get back into this, is that Cardi B tweeted BBHMM. How many of you guys out there know what BBHMM stands for? Because I didn't. I actually had to Google it. And it's that good old B better have my money. B better have my money. BBHMM. So I learned something new today, and I hope that you guys are learning something new to hear with me tonight. If you're looking to manage your business, please check out flynubianbusiness.com. If you are looking to better manage your money, please check out flynubianmoney.com. You can always find me, Marye Dean Esquire, online at thewallstreetlawyer.com. So as I was saying earlier, you may be able to take possession of their assets or collect their future income or assets. If you sue someone with no money and successfully win your case, you've only won the rights to the money and may run into trouble getting the losing party to pay their debts to you. There are a few options you can consider pursuing through the legal system to collect what is owed to you. The judge may approve you. Now you have to actually ask this separately, but the judge may approve for you to garnish the debtor's wages. The debtor in this instance would be Tasha K. So Cardi B could seek a garnishment of Tasha K's wages, which is income, money coming in. Though if Tasha K or the other party is living on Social Security, you will not be entitled to any of that cash. With wage garnishments, it will take some time to recoup the entire debt owed from them because you're basically getting a percentage of their income. You may also be able to take possession of their assets or collect their future income or assets. So that's something Cardi B could attach. If the debtor owns a business, which I believe Tasha K does own a business, that's what she said. We have a business and we do have things in place to take care of things like this, things like insurance, for instance. If the debtor owns a business but has no money, you may also be able to collect the business's income or assets if they have no personal assets to offer as payment. So you can go after their business. And this is why one of the reasons why you want to start a business in a state that has charging order protection, like Nevada is one of those states where you can't force a person to sell a piece of their business. Only thing you can do in a state with charging order protection is to get an order and attach your judgment to the distributions once the distributions are made from that particular business. So you can't go in and force a sale, but in many states, you can go in and force a sale of the business to pay that debt. So that's something to look into when you're starting a business and choosing which particular state you want to start that business in. If and when the individual's financial situation turns around, you can file a collections action. We sometimes have cases where we are suing an individual business owner with no money and assets, and there are various options, including insurance, homeowners insurance policies, umbrella policies, and some business policies can be helpful in finding insurance coverage for a claim. Entering a judgment. If you get a judgment against an individual with no money, you can keep the judgment current and renew it, add your accrued interest to the renewal of that judgment. If and when the individual's financial situation turns around, you can file a collections action to collect on your judgment. Alternate theories of liability. In some cases, there may be other theories of liability to allow you to sue another person for the liability of the individual with no money. Again, that's what I talked about a second ago. For those of you who are just now joining me, that means going after the person with the deeper pockets. In many cases, the employer or the person who maybe hired someone out as an independent contractor. If you can go for the deeper pockets, you always want to do that. You can ask the judge for an execution. If you sue someone who has no money and successfully wins the case, you have a few different options to pursue your full or partial payout. Some plaintiffs don't have the power to go after their money directly. Both options require more visits to the court where judges will decide the next best steps. You can ask the judge for an execution, which gives you the right to seize some of their assets like their home or car if they claim to have no cash and won't pay you out, much like a business. They'll need to liquidate or surrender their assets. So that's kind of what you do. You go in and you ask for an execution on that judgment or an enforcement on that judgment. It's called different things from state to state, but there's an additional step that you actually have to do to enforce the judgment. But in many times you can get, once you do that, once you file that paperwork, usually with the sheriff's office or the county, then they will deliver it to that person's bank to seize their assets in their account. And you have to be very detailed in these judgments. You have to have you have to know what financial institution that person is with. You have to know the banking routing number. You need to know the banking account number. You need to know the information to put on the name of the account that the bank account is in. You have to have all of this information, and you have to put this information very detailed in the judgment in order to have that judgment enforced. And so how do you do that? Knowing that now is something that allow you to draft contracts in the best way for you. It's a good way. One thing I like to do and tell my clients to do is to have people pay you by wire. If you have your people pay you by wire, which you have to do with large transactions, if you don't have your own payment gateway, or even if you do have your own payment gateway, if they have to enter that detailed information to make a payment to you, then now you have that very detailed information that you will need to enforce a judgment, which will allow you to seize that person's assets in the bank and go in and collect your money. So that is something good to know, something I find out over the years and litigating corporate matters between people, and just wow, I'm so glad we have this information, because I can tell you one thing: once the sugar honey iced tea hits the fan, it is going to be a lot more difficult to get that information that you're going to need to put in a judgment to enforce that judgment. So get that information early on. These are things to consider when you're contracting early on. Put all of that information in your contract or in some type of your payment initiation process, so that you have that information if the sugar honey iced tea hits the fan on the back end. We spoke about garnishing wages. That is a possibility. When we say attaching that judgment to your assets, all of your personal assets, your wages are included in that asset. placing a levy on property, that is included in your assets, the property. The judgment may also include a repayment plan. Let's say a party loses and they decide that they cannot pay you, but they are willing to work out some type of payment plan and put that in the judgment and have that signed into your order. You can get that done as well. According to this plan, they will pay a portion of the debt every single month. It is part of a court order called an agreement for judgment. If the opposing party is unable to pay the amount they agreed to, they could be in violation of the court order, which you have that order, and which could result in any type of penalties in addition to additional money damages and maybe even jail time, depending on your state and your situation. So always remember, though, a person may have no money, but may have other assets. Other assets, think about in Tasha K's situation, it is her business, but also maybe her business brand. You have a right to come in and start attaching those assets to the judgment. That usually requires an additional step, but hey, Cardi B got it, right? All right, so if you are looking to grow your business, please check out flynubianbusiness.com. If you are looking to better manage your money, please check out flynubianmoney.com. You can always find me, Marye Dean Esquire, online at thewallstreetlawyer.com. And so we're talking tonight about what would you do if you have a judgment against someone, you sue someone, you win against them in court, and now you have this judgment and they don't have any money. What do? I have witnessed many people prevail in court only to discover that the judgment they won is nothing more than a piece of paper costing tens of or hundreds of thousands of dollars. When someone has no assets to lose, they're essentially judgment proof, which sometimes you say judgment proof, they don't have any assets. Come on, how can someone rich who you think have all these assets not have any assets? And a great example of this is the Senator Teddy Kennedy accident that cost a young woman her life when a car he was driving plunged off the Dyke Bridge. Despite the vast Kennedy fortune, the girl's parents only received about $150,000 from the insurer of the vehicle. By holding his assets in a trust and other entities, Ted Kennedy had made himself judgment proof. This is a great segue into estate planning, proper estate planning. When you have that much money, the one thing rich people always think about doing is how can I keep my money in my pocket? And it is very easy to lose your massive amount of wealth. And I don't care if it's 100,000. It's wealth planning is for the wealthy and those who desire to be. It is for every single body, because I tell you what, proper management of the assets that you do have will definitely allow you to acquire more. So by having a trust, Teddy Kennedy was actually judgment proof. The funds cannot be reached through any type of litigation. And this is why you want to have proper estate planning. Conversely, when O.J. Simpson lost his civil lawsuit, he attempted to hide his assets by giving them away to friends and relatives, and what the court determined was a fraudulent conveyance. So when we're setting up trust during estate planning, that is definitely one thing we look for. We always look for that. We look for that in family law when people are trying to hide assets from child support and things of that nature. When you're suing someone in court, in litigation over a business matter, any type of conveyances that happen right around the lawsuit or in anticipation of lawsuit can be deemed a fraudulent conveyance. But definitely deciding on whether or not to sue should begin with what one hopes to gain. And even in Cardi B's situation, even if she didn't collect anything, it would remind me of this famous example that included Taylor Swift, who sued someone for sexual assault, asking for only $1. The lawsuit was making the point that she had, in fact, been sexually assaulted by this person. She was more interested in clearing her good name and bringing publicity to the assaulter's bad acts than she was in reaping any financial windfall, which may not have even been possible for her. So there are many examples of people who've won lawsuits from people with no assets, money or otherwise, to seize. And this is a very important distinction. A person may have no money, but may have other assets that you want to seize. And if they have other assets, a judgment must be granted in addition to having that successful lawsuit so that you can seize those assets and attach that judgment to those particular assets. For instance, person A may win a suit against person B in which the court determines an award of $100,000 is appropriate to return person A to the condition they existed before the bad acts of person B. However, person B does not have $100,000. Person B does have a 50% interest in a home worth $200,000. Person A must show that they have a judgment for $100,000 from their successful lawsuit. If so, they can use this judgment to obtain a lien and put a lien on person B's interest in that home. Once the lien is attached to the property, person A can start legal proceedings forcing the sale of the home so they can recoup their judgment. The same can be applied to any other assets. Okay? All right. If you are looking to grow your business, please check out flynubianbusiness.com. If you are looking to better manage your money, please check out flynubianmoney.com. You can always find me, Marye Dean Esquire, online at thewallstreetlawyer.com. And you definitely I want to give a shout out to my boy, the bird walker, Lloyd Joshua Sams. I see you. Yes, you do see me here on Fly Nubian Queen Network, the network for melanated people like you. It's Black History Month. I'm excited about that. I'm not going to talk about, it's been a very interesting Black History Month, to say the least. But I'm not going to dwell on the negativity. We're not going to dwell on the past. We're gonna keep it moving forward and honor our the 1 month that we have. But for us, this is the home of intelligent Black people. So we don't celebrate Black history once a month or 1 month out the entire year. This is a way of life for us. We are B1 365 days, 7 days a year. So again, if you're looking to grow your business, please check out flynubianbusiness.com. If you're looking to better manage your money, please check out flynubianmoney.com. You can always find me, Marye Dean Esquire, online at thewallstreetlawyer.com. And as always, have a wonderful night. Good night.